The world doesn't just vanish because you close your eyes. The moon. Think about it. Why is it that the moon shines? Just because we're watching? Of course not. Even if humans were gone, it would shine on, illuminating the land beneath. And yet, we're the ones that give meaning to it. We say a bit dim tonight, or looks brighter than usual. Similarly, we can imbue the world with meaning and change it. It's a privilege we were lucky to obtain. We're obliged to use it. We can make a difference. The 25th anniversary of Monolith Soft is here. They are my absolute favorite development studio right now, and the games they've made are laid before our eyes. Takahashi-san and the people working at Monolith Soft are in the business of creating peak fiction, as made clear by Sugiura's comments. I don't think I've been able to feel fully satisfied with having succeeded or achieved anything. This is something I will continue to pursue as long as Monolith Soft exists, and it's probably something I will never be able to fully achieve in the future. Takahashi-san isn't the only one with ambitions in the studio after all. They're also passionate about the experiences they craft, which is hopefully evident in my in-depth analysis of their work that we've explored up to this point on this channel. If their only concern was money, they would not be able to create a legacy like this. So I thought it's a good idea to reminisce about my history with Monolith Soft games, as it starts with Soma Bringer on the DS. I have imported English translations to enjoy the story, and to this day I look so fondly on it. The writing was spectacular, the world building was phenomenal, the gameplay felt so fresh. I hope it gets a remaster at one point. Do not sleep on Somabringer because it is phenomenal. Now, although I have completed the Xenosaga, Xenoblade Trilogy and Xenogears, I actually haven't played Xenoblade X yet, simply because I never had a Wii U. I can use an emulator right now to experience it, but since we're so close to a Switch remaster in 2025 that I'm holding off on it. Takahashi-san will certainly include a DLC or some sort of new content with a remaster, so I don't want to miss out on the hype and the experience being so qualitatively different on a handheld device to boot. And maybe Switch 2 will come with 4K resolution and uncapped frame rates, so I'm really smoking that hopium. I can't wait for it to experience it next year. Fingers crossed. But one thing I do know about Xenoblade X is that in the first cutscene, aliens destroy Earth, and since we know for a fact in Xenosaga and Xenoblade, Klaus is the one that destroyed Earth, you might initially think that they're completely separate stories. Yes and no. Alma was shown on this garden for a reason. What if Xenoblade X is a parallel universe within Xenosaga where Klaus didn't press that button and unleash the power of the conduit? What if thousands of years later, this new alien species arrive on the Xenosaga's universe and blows up Earth, which is how Xenoblade X starts to begin with? Keep in mind that there are no aliens in Xenosaga's world building, so it makes sense to me that Xenoblade X is an alternative universe set far into the future where Earth was intact, Klaus didn't press the button, and ultimately the world was not destroyed by him, but by aliens. Now, I will try to form stronger connections on that when I actually play it next year on Switch 2. But what I did play is Baiten Kaitos with the Switch release. I didn't complete it fully, but racked up enough hours to tell it has a lot of heart and passion poured into it. The gameplay was very interesting initially, but for me kind of lost its steam as time went on, and the story gives me Berserk vibes and seems very cool. I might go back for it eventually just because of the world building and atmosphere, and it was a really nice addition to their library. Now, I have been stalling for long enough. Now we need to talk about the elephant in the room, Kosmos, how she was given the spotlight in the Origins Garden scene along with the rest of the Xenoblade games. On my Metaphysics of Ionios episode, I've told you how Xenoblade Trilogy occurred within the Xenosaga universe, how Origins reboots show the new world forming from Xenosaga's pocket dimension, which perfectly explains how Kosmos can fall down on Earth, just as the ending of Xenosaga 3 suggests. In other words, the Lost Jerusalem was finally found. Xenosaga Trilogy is probably the most profound gaming experience of my life. I always loved sci-fi, and the rubido, albedo, and nigredo alchemy references to ideas in religion, anima and animus, the way the factions interacted and viewed Zohar. The world building in Xenosaga is so damn fascinating to me that I'm blown away, honestly, even to this day. Not even the Chronicles games give me the feeling Xenosaga had given me. The cinematography in the cutscenes is out of this world. If Xenosaga Trilogy came out today with these cutscenes, with on-par graphics of the modern gaming standards, everyone, I guarantee, would sing its praises. It is a timeless piece of art that sets you on an unforgettable journey where its next stop will be Xenoblade Chronicles 4, but actually, it will be Xenosaga 4 in all but name. Takahashi-san said in an interview that as long as he lives, he will strive to complete the 6 episodes he always wanted to tell with Xenogears. I hope, as Sugiura says, they continue to make games for the next 100, 200, and even 500 years. I am really happy to be here for it. Didn't miss out on this peak fiction they've created and will continue to create. Let's now talk about Xenoblade Chronicles Trilogy. What can I say, honestly? Best modern JRPG of our times. Point blank. And there's not even a competition anymore. Neither Persona 5 nor Shin Megami Tensei are quite on this level for me. Not even close, actually. Xenoblade 1 on the Wii was my first introduction and is my favorite video game of all time to this day. The definitive edition on the Switch made it so much better, and the definitive version added the level down option, which made all the boss fights challenging and fun, as long as you set it below 5 levels of the enemy. You know what it did? It actually made me appreciate how fun Xenoblade 1's battle system is. So, don't listen to people who say the gameplay is so bad in this game. They don't know what they're talking about. The way Fiora died and Shulk screamed, "I'll kill you," still rings in my ears to this day.
I'll kill you!
At the time I played this game on the Wii, I was introduced to it by someone named Chuga Conroy by his Let's Play, and I think I was around 14 or 15 years old. I have never seen such a world back then. The Bionis and Mechonis enthralled me. The dialogues blew every other JRPG I played back then. The ambitions of the narrative were far beyond what I thought was possible, and it legitimately changed my perception of video games for the better. And after my latest playthrough on Definitive Edition, I still stand by that it's my favorite video game of all time, maybe only rivaled by Xenosaga Trilogy as a whole, but we will get to that in another video. Now, the Future Connected was overall a weak DLC in my mind, but I still love it because it established the Black Fog connection to Alpha and Future Redeemed. We know that at the time the events of Future Connected occurred, Alpha was already formed, evident by the script, "The world abhors you." So, as weak as this DLC might be, it has an important place in the greater lore of the series, since this means Zed hijacked the reboot of Origin fully knowing that Alpha detested old immortals. In a sense, Mobius saved humanity from complete oblivion. Now, enter Xenoblade Chronicles 2, a game that I regard extremely highly. So highly, in fact, that it's almost on par with Xenoblade 1 in terms of how profound the experience was for me. And there's this unfortunate toxic discourse around this game that I never really understood. The game is bashed so much online that I feel like rooting for the underdog here. Let me make it clear that Xenoblade 2 is so good that it is better than Xenoblade 1 in certain ways, in my mind. And Xenoblade 1 is my favorite video game of all time. The second game was made by 50 to 60 people. Monolith Soft was so understaffed that they had to outsource the blade designs to external parties. And in terms of gameplay, I think the second one is the best combat in the series. I love the blade system and the gacha mechanic even more than the heroes in Xenoblade 3. I don't know if that's a hot take, it probably is, but I don't care. And more importantly, the story in Xenoblade 2 is full of heart and passion. In fact, the chapters 7, 8, 9, 10 are all peak fiction in concentrated form. Lots of sci-fi elements are added, lots of conclusions to the story, not unlike Xenosaga, and it explored so much that I'm baffled how the community is not head over heels on this game. I mean, do you remember Rex's trembling voice in the dinner scene saying, "Did I go wrong somewhere?" Questioning his entire existence, unable to respond to people who challenged his self-perception at every corner. That confusion was so relatable that we all experienced that feeling at some point in our lives.
You're so mean. It was only that one time.
It's okay, you two. I don't care who cooks. I'm just happy we're... I'm happy we...
Rex.
It's so strange. I don't even know what I'm doing here anymore. Everyone's all wrong. They all said but now you two... Did I go wrong somewhere?
Now enter Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Despite the confusion and the suffering of life, you move forward regardless. A perfect continuation from Rex's dinner scene. A lesson that I failed to grasp first time around, since Xenoblade 3 was a critique of sequelization in the gaming industry. As similar as it may look, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is a completely different beast to Xenoblade 1 and 2. It's a lot more contemplative and thought-provoking, solemn themes of life and war and death and philosophy. Now, I admit that initially I wasn't so hot on the trilogy finale because it really didn't feel like that. I felt like the chapter 6 and 7 were rushed, point blank, and it didn't quite live up to the high standards of 1 and 2. The game felt short to me and lacking in substance in terms of the villains and the character arcs. But again, that was only so because of my wrong expectations and, more importantly than anything else, me not paying attention to the narrative and the dialogues and the quests. After I completed all the Ascension quests, pondered on the lore extensively in my second playthrough, as evident by the videos I make, I simply fell in love with Xenoblade 3. It's not my favorite in the trilogy, but man, is it so unique that it's the only one that I always go back for more. And I feel like I do that even more than the other two. It's like you're mining an ore that just keeps on giving gold. The more you analyze Xenoblade 3, the deeper it gets. And If you guys are interested in philosophy and spirituality, there's probably no better modern JRPG right now than to play Xenoblade 3. Free will, choice, meaning, nihilism, existentialism, purpose, capitalism, they're all explored here holistically with the Mobius, Ouroboros, Flame Clocks, Colonies, Ionios. Future Redeemed is the best DLC I've ever experienced in my life. The way Shulk and Rex led the people, how Fiora was inside the Lucky Seven and Malus was in End's Blade, Alpha's motivations for using Nael's disgust for the people, the radio connections to Dmitry Yuriev and Kosmos falling down at the end. This is peak fiction and capped off Xenoblade 3 beautifully. More importantly, it humanized Mobius and gave motivational leverage for why N had to kill all the city people. See, in the base game we thought it was purely to save M from dying, but now we know that the entire world and humanity were at stake. Granted, Mobius were tyrannical, but they still protected the world and its people. Alpha made the contrast that much clearer in this DLC. That's why Matthew and N teamed up, because Alpha was a common enemy. Fiora and Malus, representing Numa and Logos, worked together, respectively, to inform Ontos, and this was a beautiful ending to a beautiful trilogy. And curiously, if you look at Mio and Noah, they don't have their term marks. Pyra and Mithra's core crystals are in their complete form. Rex doesn't have a core crystal. Fiora's hair is short, just like the ending of Xenoblade 1. Basically, all the protagonists are in their final forms, in their final memory imprints of their respective games, stored in Origin, ready to be reincarnated in this new world. I really cannot wait for what the future holds. Now I believe the new RPG Monolith Soft is working on is Xenoblade 4 rather than a new IP. And I hope that you will stick with me throughout the reveal, as I plan to cover everything moving forward with Monolith Soft. And my recent analysis, A World Without Meaning and Choice, Nihilism, in Xenoblade 3 is released. Focusing on Ionios and the philosophical backbone of the game, it is probably the best video I've made as a content creator, so I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoy talking about it. Don't go anywhere, because literally next week I'll be releasing a Logos Trilogy analysis. You definitely won't want to miss it. Click the bell to be notified, and if you like this video, give it a like and comment below telling me your memories of Xenoblade and why you love this series so much. After all, everyone has a story to tell, and considering Monolith Soft wants to exist for another 500 years, I better find the elixir of immortality sooner rather than later, so that I can witness the endless now of the Xeno series. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.